Well, welcome to ATGLive, your Thursday night home for all things Star Wars. I'm one of your hosts, Pete Fletzer. I'm joined, as always, by the lovely and talented Nick Mielke. Nick, how's it going, my friend? Okay.
To borrow a line from my friend Chris Ryans. Whew, it's been a day.
It's been a day.
The perfect salve on this day is getting to hang out and be with my Star Wars friends tonight, both in the chat, both on the show. I mean, yeah, it's been a day, but I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to spend a little bit of time checked out from, basically everything being on fire, I guess.
Well, I'm glad that we're here. I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad, we have been working over the last several months to continuously improve this show and upgrade everything we possibly can. And the first thing we did was a couple weeks ago, we started making this guy a regular once again, Mr. Chris Ryans, our Lord
Handsome
Keeper
devil he is.
engineer. How are you, Chris?
Well, I mean, gimmick infringement has already been committed by Nick, so
But you're used to that, whether it's your puppet or your phrase or what. Too soon? Sorry.
Oh, brought it back. Love it. Pete?
Yes.
Doing good, man. My innie's been at work all day today, so I am very so glad to be at a Lumen right now.
Listen, are you a big Severance fan?
I just became one like last week.
Oh my God.
And Claire turned me on to it, and I'm almost caught up, and I'm trying to not get caught up. But
so I had a very interesting experience today. I have been fortunate enough to be asked by the guys at Screen Crush to be part of their weekly recap.
Nice.
And so a woman that my wife knows at her gym shows her a picture on her phone. She's like, my husband watches Screen Crush all the time. And I'm like, that's Pete. I know him. So here I am just sitting in my little studio talking about Severance, and friends and family are seeing it without me even knowing. Awesome. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, no, great show. Make sure to check out. Hey, when you're done here tonight, they will be dropping.
Feeling me tonight.
There we
Matt's
go.
On my level.
Tonight, after you watch us, make sure to watch the Screen Crush recap of tonight's episode, because I'm going to be on that as well. But speaking of improving the show and adding to it, last week she was a guest. We somehow tricked her into doing more. We have a new producer for the show, Kelsey Puckett. Kelsey, what's up?
Shit. Like, I don't know how you duped me. It's like somehow I'm back.
Yeah, somehow after embarrassing you with the quote game, you're like, you know what? If I help them from the back end, I can probably get revenge somehow.
Yeah, maybe. Like, maybe I'm gonna be playing younglings in the back. I don't know.
Well, we're super excited to have you. We now have a show with a crew, and these guys are going to pop in and give their thoughts and things and mock us and tell us when we make mistakes, which is going to keep them basically on the screen
constantly.
Yeah,
I need to do.
You guys kind of deserve it. It's all right.
We agree. We don't disagree at all.
And this is why we've brought her to be a part of this show. We love it. Well, the nice thing is I also have control, so I can kick you guys out, because I'm going to have to do that, because we have a gal. Hey, you guys can jump in whenever you want. So yes, Chris and I were just talking about seeing Boyega at Philly, what is it, Fan Fest in May.
Fan Expo?
Fan Expo.
Yeah, whatever. I'm going to be there. Yeah, for sure.
I will. We don't care who else is there, but we're going to be there, because we got to see Boyega, and we got to see Anthony Daniels. So
yeah,
thanks for asking, Matt.
I have a lot riding on Pete's reunion with Anthony Daniels.
I'm going to need Chris to be there with a camera behind me, and we're going to make a whole thing.
Like a bodyguard, I can come.
Yeah.
When we talk to our collector friends and we talk about things like, what is the thing you want in your Star Wars collection? It's only been in recent weeks when it came to announce that he was going to be there. I think the number one thing I want in my Star Wars collection is an autographed C-3PO as a monster sticker from Anthony Daniels. So Pete, I need that to happen.
It's going to happen unless, like, maybe I'll bring my charming smile and, like, have him sign it for you.
Yeah, or maybe I put you ahead of me in line and have him laugh it off,
That's right.
and then I'll be like, "This is why you blocked me, you English bastard." Well, we are going to move on with the show. Chris and Kelsey, we'll see you throughout the night. Thank you so much for being here. Wanted to make sure everybody got to know you guys. And Nick, we actually we have a guest co-host tonight hanging out with us.
Yes, we do.
Do you want to give a little bit of background, and then I'll play a little bumper thing because that's what we do, and then we'll bring them in.
That's what we do. Absolutely. I am thrilled tonight to welcome back to the show our good friend Patrick Cotnoir. Patrick has been on with us a bunch of different times, both as Podcast of the Wills. In fact, it got to the point where I think anytime I text or email Patrick, I always sign it Nick, and then in parentheses I write Wills Pod because I feel like that's how he remembers me. I'm Wills Pod. That's my deal. But Patrick is a part of the George Lucas Talk Show. He's the producer of that, which if you don't know what that is, I don't know how to help you, but you've gone astray in your life. He's working with our friends Pete and Alex at Star Wars Minute on the Star Wars live reads that have been going on for the last, it's been almost a year, maybe. We'll talk about that. They've got another one coming up on Saturday. He's one of my favorite people in the Star Wars space that we met at Celebration in Anaheim back a couple years ago. And just, he's always gracious to come and hang out and be a part of the stuff we've done. Potathon, he's helped us out with that. So Patrick is here to hang out with us tonight and be a part of the whole show. So I'm excited to welcome Patrick Cotnoir back to ATGLive.
Patrick.
Oh, I thought I was going to be centered.
Now you are.
Hello.
Right where you belong.
Thank you so much.
What is going on, Patrick? How's things?
I'm excited to be here. Things are good. Things are busy. There's a lot going on. I saw Nick's West Wing hat in the back. I coincidentally am wearing a 1600 Penn hat, which was another NBC White House show, but got canceled immediately.
So Patrick has a great running thing about trying to collect all the hats from the canceled. Is it just NBC shows or is it?
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah, that's a big one.
Super not discriminatory, but our friend Matthew, who is in the chat, knows how much I love West Wing. Patrick and I both love Studio 60. Like we have all these other crossovers. But Matthew sent me this hat about a year ago as a surprise, and it still has the NBC Studio Store tag on it.
Amazing.
And it's fantastic, and it lives right on top of my Scout Trooper helmet, which you can't see because it's being blocked by the wonderful George Lucas Talk Show.
A rare piece of merch.
That's right. It's a limited edition, or at least that's what I tell myself.
Yes. Sorry, it just got so windy, and I'm going to close my window.
That is all right. That is all right.
Well, good. Well, we wait for him to return. Nick, we do a toast every single week, and I know he's going to join us. And Kelsey and Chris, if you want to pop in for the toast, if you're doing it, great. I believe Kelsey is going to, and
yes.
So
Kelsey, and so I don't know. Did we tell Patrick about this? The Snoketoberfest and our toast. So I have to make an addition because it is Imperial March. I have my Palpatine that is my figure for Imperial March, but I discovered when I opened this last week, this particular vintage collection figure comes with the removable hands. And so we're putting the lightning hands on for our toast tonight because that seems appropriate for how my day has gone. So we're going to drink a beer with lightning hands Palpatine in it.
Damn it, Kelsey! No. Oh,
Kelsey is opening her Grand Admiral Thrawn figure just for this event.
Fuck this Kenner shit. It's going in my beer.
So, and Patrick's given us this little bit of look, and like we've explained this whole thing to him, and he understands. But I just want to take this moment to also remind our viewers, if you're not super familiar with Patrick, in the George Lucas Talk Show, there was a certain live stream at one point where Patrick cooked a roll of toilet paper in his apartment and ate it.
True. Yeah, someone donated. I think it was $5,000. So
yeah, it was a stretch goal, and it was a stretch goal, and it was worth it.
That's how it works. Yeah,
yeah, that's how it works. So
I have a water.
We're all about the stretch goal. I love it. Well, there we go. Pete has dropped out to give us the screen. I'm going to raise our toast for Imperial March tonight to both of you having fun, hanging out, welcoming Kelsey to the show, and welcome Patrick back to the show.
No.
here's to Imperial March. Pete, if you will hit the sound, and we will make it happen.
Cheers.
I would if I had it. So just
Ooh.
Make the sound with your
Gentlemen.
mouth.
Ooh,
I'll
full
do it
circle.
with my mouth. Ready? Here it is.
That's fine.
Okay, ready? Go. That's it. The rebels are there, and Skywalker is with them. General Veers, prepare your men. I don't know. I can't remember the whole thing, but I think that was it. I love that even when Chelsea misses it, she just keeps going. She doesn't stop.
In it to
What
win
do you
it.
mean I missed it?
No, you, no, you got it. You got it. Awesome. Well,
Literally, this is just my excuse as a 46-year-old man to chug a beer in 10 seconds once a week. That's really all I need. in life.
Was that far off? Did I miss it that much?
No, well, it didn't count this week because I was doing the voice.
That's right.
It just didn't work out very well.
Pete ruined it. It's not you.
You
I
know what?
ruined
It's an
it.
asterisk.
I'm gonna
This is
quit.
a Barry Bonds situation.
You know what? First week I'm out.
First week, screw you guys. I'm out.
Quit. You guys suck. Bye. Oops. I just dumped her. My goodness. I'm yeah, whatever. So
Hey, if it helps, this is how Patrick feels being the producer of the George Lucas Talk Show
A
most
lot of
every
power.
time.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
power in your fingers, and you got to take it
Yeah.
however you can.
this is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Well, hey, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to take a real quick break. And then when we come back, we've got 3 Star Wars news stories this week to talk about. There's actually been a lot more than that, so you can find them on our website. But we got 3 that we want to talk about with you tonight. So we will be back in just a minute with more ATG Live.
What's up, my fellow Gen X Star Wars fam? My name is Chris Rhines from Broaxium. You may know me from ATG's Force Connect that I co-hosted with Pete and Nick. Now, I'm the owner and operator of Broaxium Outpost, an online shop for all your action figure and collectibles needs like Star Wars Black Series, G.I. Joe Classified, Star Wars Vintage Collection, Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series and Vintage Collection, Transformers Studio Series, Star Wars lightsabers and helmets, Masters of the Universe, and much, much more, including Star Wars action. Alright, I have a lot of Star Wars stuff, I'm just saying. Stop by and check out the store at www.broaxiumoutpost.com. Sign up to become a part of the Bounty Hunters Guild and stay updated on new pre-orders, sales, and exclusive Broaxium content. Find something you like? Use the promo code ATG10 for 10% off your first order. We have Star Wars figures, by the way.
All right. Do you still order stuff online, Patrick?
Oh
yeah.
It's a problem. It's a problem. I'm trying to think of the last Star Wars figure that I got. It might have been Luthen, maybe.
Oh wow.
Black Series. I'm pretty much exclusively a Black Series guy at this point.
That's cool.
Unless they're like 90s ones, weird 90s ones that I don't have. Power of the Force.
Something extra.
Yeah,
we have those moments with our dumb little action figure beer chugging scenario. Like January was Jan Dodanuary for General Jan Dodonna. So I had to go.
Explain it to me, Nick.
I had to go to eBay. I had to go to eBay to find that one. That wasn't one I already had in my stable.
Yeah,
Boba Fett is a little easier.
Yeah, every so often that happens where I'll be like, "Oh, I need a General Willard. I gotta find my General Willard. I gotta get my whoever it is. Where's my Cabe and Muff Talk?"
My current situation is I probably do need to hit up Broaxium Outpost because we are not but a couple of weeks away from Dr. April, and I'm going to need a Dr. Afra figure for the month of April. So I have to hit my man up, Chris. I figured you would.
Chris, you got an E-font mod?
I don't. You talking from the 90s or just like any? No. But I will. I'll keep a lookout for that one.
There's one on Facebook Marketplace, but it's like 40 minutes away, and I don't want to drive 40 minutes.
Juice may not be worth the squeeze.
No, probably not. Probably not.
Cost you more in gas to get there than it's worth.
Exactly.
Right. So cool.
Awesome.
Well, hey, we like I said, we have some news stories that we want to talk about tonight. Real quick though, before I forget, I think I've already forgotten. Yeah, I did forget. There was something that hit just before. Just before we came on, so we don't have a news story about it. Light and Magic Season 2 is coming to Disney Plus. So that's pretty
excellent
exciting
news.
I loved that series. I thought that was
good.
great. I mean, I think we're all big behind the scenes guys. So
Yes.
So that's pretty cool.
Is it April 18th? I think.
I think you're right. Yep, I think you're right.
Johnson's directing it.
Yep.
Right.
So cool.
Very excited for that. The first one was so good, and like you said, Pete, we're big behind the scenes folks. Patrick, I know you are. We've talked a little bit about that over the years, and just the stories, and not even the Star Wars stuff, like the Poltergeist stuff when they talk about how they do the house at the end of the the movie, and just utterly fascinating to me. So the fact that we get more of that is a gift.
Yeah, very excited.
I was pulled into the Star Trek stuff. I forgot that's what kind of was their exposure to expanding their footprint, and that was just such a cool show. Well, good. Well, let's hit other news, and let's see what we got here. All right. Well, let's see. So here's our first story of the night. A limited edition Mara Jade Skywalker lightsaber is now available at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Star Wars fans can now get their hands on the highly anticipated Mara Jade Legacy Star Wars lightsaber set, which debuted yesterday at Disney's Hollywood Studios. The limited edition collectible is now available for purchase in Tatooine traders and online through the Disney Store. The price is a whopping $325, and the set comes in a decorative gray box with sliding doors featuring the Empire's emblem on one side and the new Jedi Order symbol on the other. The Aurebesh text on the box reads Legends, a nod to Mara Jade's status in Star Wars lore, and inside fans will find a sleek silver lightsaber hilt with black and orange accents inspired by the character's original promotional artwork. The blade, sold separately, because $325 shouldn't get you a $60 blade, glows with Mara Jade's signature purple hue when attached. Alongside the lightsaber, the set includes a special variant cover of Star Wars Mara Jade by the Emperor's Hand #1, an individually numbered certificate. Limited to 3,500 units worldwide, approximately 1,800 are available at Disney World, with the remaining stock being split between Disneyland's Doc-Ondar Den and the Disney Store. Mara Jade originally was introduced in Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire, and she remains a fan favorite character. Guys, this is really cool. It's a unique saber. It's expensive, like a lot of the cool sabers are. But what do you guys think of Mara Jade kind of making a comeback here? Is there more to it? Patrick says no. What's that?
I think any Mara Jade fans in 2025 deserve to get their wallet emptied out. $400 for a lightsaber. If you're still on that train, I'm sorry you lose all your money. I'm sorry, that's just what happened. Not for me. Not for me. Sorry.
Yeah, we've got a plethora of reactions coming from the background back here. Chris is clapping. Kelsey's giving thumbs down. Yeah. I'm with Patrick on this one. Like, I love Heir to the Empire. That original, that trilogy from back in the day was a huge part of my teenage years, my in-between years, my Star Wars years. First of all, I don't collect the sabers. There's only one saber that I needed, and I got it when they put out the Kanan Jarrus saber, last year, the year before. This isn't for me. There's people, those 3,500 will absolutely probably sell out.
They're probably sold out already, I would think.
They're probably sold out already. You're right. But it's not for me, and that's fine. That's right. You can get a lot of
not Mary Jane. It's Mary Jane.
And by that he means plays of the song "Last Dance with Mary Jane" by Tom Petty at a jukebox at a Waffle House somewhere in like the Panhandle,
Enid, Oklahoma.
Yeah, or Enid, Oklahoma.
Right.
This isn't for me, and it's great. I'm glad that there's somebody that is, like Patrick said, there's somebody that's on this train in 2025, and they're real happy right now.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
Kill it if you must.
Oh man. So, but of course, everybody now is saying this means that she may make a comeback with some of the Thrawn stories. Any thoughts on no?
Not going to happen. No. I stake my reputation on this. Bring this clip back when she comes back, but not going to happen.
Not going to happen. All right.
No. Yeah. I don't know. It becomes that thing of like, how bad do people want it? Look how bad everybody wanted Boba Fett to come back, and then Boba Fett came back, and everybody bitched and moaned about Boba Fett coming back and how it wasn't the Punisher tattoo Boba Fett that they wanted it to be.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Again, I'm with both of you on this. There's a collectible for everybody. Get your collectibles, get what you love, and go for it. You know. So, wait, what do we have here? Old and white.
I get it. I get it.
Yep. It's right here. It's right here in my beard.
33, but okay.
Not that old, not that way. But wait,
How dare I like things from the past? My God.
Oh, sure.
Come on, like give me like a nice, like cool female like Jedi that's not Rey, please.
I don't disagree with you on that. I just don't think she's the one.
Okay, but give me someone better. Like there's no one else. Just
let's
right now.
Let's see what's in the new Rey movie. See what we see what we get for you there.
Oh, so tired.
Awesome. Well, let's check another story, and maybe this one won't be as polarizing.
Won't make our producers mad at us.
This was dangerous. Okay, we are talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu. They're introducing the BDX Droids. Speaking of Disneyland and Disney World, Disney has revealed exciting new details about the Mandalorian and Grogu and its connection to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. During a panel at the South by Southwest Film Festival, it was confirmed that the upcoming film will mark the big screen debut of the BDX droids seen here, which have previously appeared at Disney parks. The droids will be tuned up by an Anzellan named Watto, with Lucasfilm unveiling a first look from the film's set. Jon Favreau took the stage alongside Imagineers Leslie Evans and Asa Kalama to discuss the integration of storytelling across multiple platforms. Favreau said, quote, "One of the cool things about Disney is how you can tell our stories in so many different formats. We're already taking Mando and Grogu from the TV screen to the movie screen, and at the same time, Dave and I are working with Asa to bring this story to Disney parks too. The expansion of Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run will introduce a brand new mission that ties into the film's story, and the attraction update is set to debut on May 22nd, 2026, which is the same day as the film's release. However, Favreau clarified that the ride will not simply retell movie events, but rather depict a parallel adventure happening off-screen. More details about The Mandalorian and Grogu are expected to be revealed during Star Wars Celebration next month, along with potential new updates for Galaxy's Edge. Gents, what do we think of I don't even know where to start with this, because I love the Smuggler's Run thing, but I love the Disney Parks way of telling stories. Have you guys seen the BDX droids in action that on screen?
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yep.
What was, and maybe I missed this when I looked over the story before, what was the actual panel at South by Southwest? Was it like a generic?
I think it was actually
panel?
I think it was just a Disney panel of some sort. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was like I saw it and I didn't know if it was an Andor, but then when I realized that Favreau was there, that's not necessarily, so it seemed broader than that. I love this. I think that, this is a multi, genre, multi-medium, situation, whether it's parks, whether it's movies, whether it's TV, video games, all of that kind of stuff. This is an interesting point from Fanboy Cantina, not loving Smuggler's Run change unless the Falcon is actually in the movie. I know I had seen some screenshots also floating around about Bespin and something else. Is that also related to Smuggler?
Yeah, so there's apparently a piece of artwork with Cloud City, the Falcon, and the Razor Crest. So I don't know if Razor Crest is coming back for the movie or how they're going to connect it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe this is the first on-screen appearance of Batu. Maybe we can get that in a movie.
I think it's genuinely kind of crazy that they haven't done it yet. It feels like that should have happened in Mando season 1. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I understand pushing it off just because they're maybe not wanting to seem like it's all just a big commercial, but at the same time, it's like, you made it, you've got it, just use it.
It's there waiting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if I want it in the movie necessarily to be the first thing, but I don't know if I have a strong reason why I don't want that,
Right.
That was just a gut feeling. But yeah, it feels like there should have been a one-off episode, 1 week they go to Batu, like feels
TV, and the TV streaming model seems like the perfect place to, plug that in, like you said, not necessarily on a movie.
Yep, for sure.
If it's a movie, it maybe feels more like a commercial than if it's on the TV show.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep. Kelsey, you had something you wanted to add.
No, I don't think they're ever gonna add it to a show, because if you put it within canon, there's no way you can like move around with it. If they keep it like separate from everything else, they can add whoever they want to that world.
But they've already bailed on that. Like Luke is already there. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
I know, but because Batuu like doesn't really exist in the canon right now, like it's fine if they show up. Like no one's associating it with any specific era of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's fair.
So I don't think they're ever gonna add it because of that. Give them that little bit of wiggle room.
Batuu has been in many of the books and comics, like all across the eras. So it would make sense to maybe not throw it in the movies, but definitely in the shows. But I mean, it's very much canon and a part of the that tapestry of Star Wars. So it should definitely, it's definitely it's a destination for sure.
And I'm with Patrick. I'm surprised it hasn't just been sort of one of the adventures of the week happened to be flying through Batuu and stopping at Doc Ondar's to trade something in or whatever.
Easy.
So
feels easy.
Yeah, very easy.
Pick up the passcode to the thing that somebody else needs.
Yeah,
right. Do the trade, right? So. But we shall see. I'm excited to see these little guys in action, and it's really cool that they started out as experiments by Imagineers, and now they're moving into canon versus the other way around, which is really very cool. So
I also want to put this out there. You mentioned that there's Anzellans working on them. It's insane to me that Sideshow or Hot Toys or whatever has not made a life-size Anzellan.
Yes.
It's crazy to me, and I would be the first person to buy it, and I don't understand why I cannot do that.
Hot Toys, why are you denying Patrick his happiness?
Sideshow, we know you're watching the stream right now. Give me an Anzellan. I don't even care if it's Babu. Give me one of the other. Give me the bad baby guy. Any of them. Hurry up.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't think there's a life-size Anzellan?
I think that's too big.
I want to spend $400. I don't want to.
I promise I didn't.
No, I'm saying I do want. I want to.
Patrick does.
I want to.
No, but he moves and everything. He says "bad baby."
I want him to stand static, and I want him to not move. And
I want to overpay for a resin. It's fair, and you know what? There will be a lot of opportunity if they're going to be in this movie. It's going to be all over it, man. All over it. Cool. All right. Well, we have one last story for the day, and that is George Lucas's canceled Star Wars series would have changed the franchise forever. George Lucas's unmade Star Wars television series, Star Wars Underworld, could have drastically altered the franchise's future, according to longtime Star Wars producer Rick McCallum. Speaking on the Young Indie Chronicles podcast, McCallum revealed that the ambitious series was scrapped due to its massive cost, $40 million per episode, and suggested that its existence might have prevented Disney from acquiring Lucasfilm in 2012. We had over 60 third draft scripts written by some of the best writers in the world, McCallum said. He said these were dark, sexy, violent, and incredibly challenging scripts. The show was set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, bridging the gap between the prequels and the original trilogy. While McCallum did not share plot specifics, he claimed that Underworld would have, quote, blown up the whole Star Wars universe. The project ultimately stalled because its cutting-edge vision exceeded the technology and budget that was available at the time. Following Disney's acquisition of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy took over as president and later ushered in Star Wars television projects like The Mandalorian, Andor, and Skeleton Crew. Meanwhile, Lucas has expressed mixed feelings about selling the franchise, describing the decision as painful but ultimately necessary to focus on his personal life. Although Star Wars Underworld never came to fruition, its ambitious scope and creative vision continue to intrigue fans, leaving many to wonder what could have been. We've all heard about this series. Any thoughts? Do you wish it happened, Patrick and Nick?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I don't look, you're writing 60 scripts. That's so many scripts to have, and that's so confident in a way that I don't I don't know if they should have been. You know what I mean? That's a lot of script. That's
Right.
at least 3 seasons. When they're making it, it probably would have been a 20-episode season.
Yep.
I would have loved to see them. I would love to see those scripts in any way possible. I don't think we ever will.
I just want to read them at this point.
Even if they made it into, some sort of Marvel graphic novel thing, whatever. I don't think they'll ever do it. I think they're very hesitant to release any of that stuff of his, because I think things will inevitably be compared, to what they're putting out, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But it just doesn't seem like that will make its way out.
I think we're already seeing some of the expected YouTubers saying this is what we should have gotten for Star Wars, and Matt says they're just trying to make the Star Wars theory cry by man baby jackasses cry. And it's interesting. First of all, McCallum has a very unique style of
Rick McCallum is his own
speaking about things and also
bravado
designing things, and to call something sexy and violent. I mean, geez, those are 2 words that I like in some of my movies, but it doesn't. How would that fit in Star Wars? Is very interesting. So, I don't know.
Also, frankly, it would have looked bad,
right?
Because if you're trying to do a TV show at that scale with CG and everything in 2012, it's not going to look. It's not going to look. Yeah. So it honestly is probably a better thing that the show does not exist.
It would have felt like a TV show as opposed 100%. To now where you can get something in a volume or an Andor 100%. That is not. Well, Patrick, we have to ask about this particular news story. You work with George Lucas all the time.
Yeah, famously.
What kind? Famously, you work with George Lucas all the time. How often does this particular thing come up around the water cooler, planning for the next late night show?
Yeah, he likes detours more than he likes Underworld. We talk about detours a lot more. Frankly, I don't even know if he remembers Underworld, because I don't know if I've ever spoken to George about it. I would be surprised if I asked him about it and he said, I don't know what that is. That's my guess. But we want detours out there.
Absolutely. Detours. Well, a lot more of his energy is detours or strange magic or some of the more important things.
Totally. He knows what he likes.
He's a man of taste. What can we say?
He knows what he likes. Yeah, so well, that's going to do it for the news this week. You can always check out the SSWNetwork.com for the news as it happens. We put these stories up there. There's always more news than we can get to on the show every week. So make sure to check those out. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the famous aforementioned George Lucas talk show and many other things with Patrick Cotnoir. So we'll be right back with more ATG Live.
Welcome back to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for Star Wars news, drinking dumb things with action figures in them, decorating tips, you name it, we're here for you. As we have said at the top of the show, we are joined this week by our good friend Patrick Cotnoir. Patrick is a part of the George Lucas Talk Show. He has worked with our friends Pete and Alex at Star Wars Minute on some of the Star Wars live reads. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Patrick, we're thrilled you're back. You've already been with us for the first half of the show. In the off chance that somebody watching doesn't really know these words we keep using, like George Lucas Talk Show, whatever, give us just kind of a quick overview primer of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, totally. So I produce and co-host a show called The George Lucas Talk Show with comedians Connor Ratliff and Griffin Newman. Connor plays George, Griffin plays Watto, and they host a talk show with regular guests as themselves. We've been doing it for over a decade now. I think we're on our 11th year. Had a ton of people on, ranging from Whoopi Goldberg to Weird Al to Seth Meyers to recently we had Neil from Skeleton Crew. That episode came up last week.
Yeah,
he was on a live show in Los Angeles with original SNL cast member Lorraine Newman and Eugene Cordero from Mandalorian and Loki and a whole bunch of other stuff. There's hundreds of hours of the show on YouTube. We did a lot of live streaming during COVID, raised a bunch of money for a lot of charities, and it's been a lot of fun. One of our recent episodes, late January for the fires in LA, we did a fundraiser and raised over $50,000. Did a 14-hour live stream, including an interview which got almost no traction, even though we talked about the ATGLive a lot with Leslie Headland.
Leslie Headland. Yep.
I put her on the spot, made her answer some questions. And I think people should go check that out if they like it. But we have an episode.
Fantastic.
She was on for like 2 hours, which is insane.
Wow. So great.
We have an episode coming out next week on YouTube with Seth Rogen and John Hamm. That's really good. But yeah, I recommend just finding a guest that you like and picking that episode and watching that episode.
And that's the thing. And I've found you guys a long time ago, and it fits in that certain mode of like you said, find a guest, find a name of somebody you like, and just roll with it. And like the charity streams, those live streams, you did 14 hours. Y'all have done some, 6 hour, 12 hour, the May the 4th
twice
streams.
As long as that 14-hour one. Yeah.
It's incredible. Like it really is. And there's so many people. And this is the first thing that I just kind of wanted to talk about is the spread of people that you guys have been able to connect with and have on. You touched on some of them, and I made a very short list. Lorraine Newman, Robert Timothy Smith, who is Neil from Skeleton Crew, Rob Corddry, John Hamm, Seth Rogen, Rich Sommer from Mad Men, David Cross, Brian Quinn from Impractical Jokers. There's a couple. Whoopi was on.
Those are all the last 2 months.
Oh, those are recent. Like these are very recent ones.
December until then. Yeah.
Jack Quaid, Kevin Smith a couple of times. So maybe my question is, who are some of the more surprising people that either you have gotten on or you've gotten somebody to come on and they're surprised by what this is? Because I'll be honest, for me, if I'm answering that question, it's Padma, because Padma Lakshmi was on, and I'm a huge fan of Padma Lakshmi, but I was like, what the hell is going on right now?
Yeah. And she's great.
Is it a prerequisite that they have to like Star Wars to be a part of it? No. Okay.
Frankly, I want them to not like Star Wars.
Yeah.
If we're being real about it,
they don't.
I would much rather we have someone who comes in and goes, I've seen him maybe once, more interesting for me then, because then we get to explain things to them.
Yeah.
We have them read the Watto Taco Bell cup, that character description. Just like things like that are so much more interesting if the people have not seen the movies, Yeah. I would rather have someone who is interesting to us that has no connection to them at all. Who was interesting recently? Yeah, Padma was great. Padma I booked for a few other shows over the last decade or so, and that show was supposed to be Padma and Kathleen Turner, but Kathleen that day, which is very frustrating. She was having a surgery coming up soon, so she just couldn't do it. So Padma ended up having to carry the show with this actor John Bass, who was really great on there too, who's in She-Hulk and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I think she went from being like, I'm going to sit back and talk to Kathleen Turner to being like, no, Padma, you are the main guest. We are talking to you. And she was great. But the John Hamm Seth Rogen episode that's coming up next week is genuinely, maybe beat for beat, one of the funniest episodes we've done.
Wait, John Hamm, Joe Rogan?
No, John Hamm Rogen.
Oh, okay. I was like, that would be bizarre.
A totally different show, Pete.
It would be a surprise. Yeah. No. If he asked to come on, I think I would probably say no.
Right.
He would get so many viewers,
Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
I think if he came on, we talked about doing this thing for during COVID. I don't know if we've ever talked about this publicly, but I'm going to say it doesn't matter. We wanted to try to get Ted Cruz on, but then have his mic the whole time and pretend like we didn't know how to fix it. just so he'd be like, and we'd be like, I don't know, man, we
Incredible.
can't hear you. That was what we wanted to do, just so we could get that burst of publicity, because he loves comedy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's John Hamm, Seth Rogen, and it's very insane, in a great way, because that was a late show, so it started at like 10:30 p.m. and just everyone was very loopy because we had already just done a 2-hour show, and it was extremely late, and we had done 3 San Francisco Sketchfest shows the like 2 days before that, so it was a lot of things happening in that week. I think I had 9 shows that week, which is
wow,
crazy. It was too much. So we were all very loopy, and I think it shows in that episode.
And sometimes that adds to, just the effect. You have those episodes where George is a little testy. You have those episodes where maybe George has an extra glass of wine. Watto, we don't never know really what's in Watto's cup, but that adds to the element. And there's something that I love about this. And of course I love you guys because I've gotten to know you and Connor a little bit. We're still fishing for Griffin to, come be a part of the show at some point.
He's a hard fish to catch.
He is a hard fish to land, but that's fine. I'm persistent. But there's also that thing that goes with it where you have people like Chris Gethard, Paul Scheer, Mantzoukas, like these people who obviously are your friends, recurrent, like they get what y'all are doing, and it adds such another layer and element to, especially like the big long live streams.
Yeah,
like you're going, you've been in for 2 hours, there's no telling how long you're going to go. Let's dial up Mantzoukas and have tea time with Zooks or whatever. Like that adds to it because that it creates the lore of what this show is. And there's so many little things, whether it's the stuff on George's desk, the posters, the power guests, like y'all have created. It's honestly the best way to describe it is it's a cult kind of thing. Like it's something that the people that love it, and people I love. For anybody that's never seen it, and then I want to give it to you. Watto comes out at the beginning and he asks everybody, raise your hand if you think you know what this is, and then he'll call on somebody. And if you've never seen it, what do you think this is? And the answers are always spectacular. And like one of the ones I was rewatching the other day, somebody says Jeopardy, and y'all actually play the clip where there's the thing about Jeopardy and Red Tails. It just, there's so much to it. Talk about just the fun it is of creating kind of this thing that certainly is built on, not to break the wall, but improv and what y'all do.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 of us worked on this show, the Chris Gethard Show, for years, which was a public access hangout, call-in show. It was a live stream before a live stream was a thing, really. And we wanted it to feel like a clubhouse, and we wanted it to feel like Pee-wee or The Muppet Show or something like that, where there's a recurring cast of characters, and then there's the main group, and everyone is like doing their own weird thing. And I think we took that from the Gethard Show and morphed it into our own thing, which became more character based and more improv based than just like a normal talk show, even though it is still a normal talk show. And we still do have people on and like talk to Lorraine Newman about what it was like being in the Flintstones live action movie. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't happen on a regular talk show, but it's also like that could happen on Mark Maron, and there's this weird line to go between where it's like, we're going to do weird shit that some people don't understand what's happening. And we're going to make this an interesting interview where we talk about things that people don't normally get to talk about when they do interview stuff, And I think that has morphed into whatever this weird beast of a thing has become, where we're, talking to Padma about her being on Star Trek, but also like giving out film strips for Red Tails, so it's just like, it's a weird collection of stuff. But I think when you're watching it, if you buy in and just go, I'm just along for the ride, I'm going to figure this out as I'm going along, I think it's usually a pretty fun ride. It's rare that we get to the end of an episode and go,
Yeah. Have there been any guests that you were like, okay, this is a good name guest, but I don't know if they're going to work out, and you're like, holy shit, that was amazing?
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's a lot of, during COVID, it was me just emailing a lot of people that I wanted to meet or wanted to like hang out with. And I was in we were all in New York, the 3 of us at that point. I'm in LA now. But it was just me listening to a lot of podcasts during the day and being like, who's this LA comedian that's really funny that shows up all the time? You know, like someone, I didn't know this girl, Jackie Michelle Johnson, who is truly one of the funniest people in the world. And we had her on for the Studio 60 marathon because she plays one of the girls who gets into the after party in one of the episodes of Studio 60. And we just wanted to talk to her about that. It was hyper specific, blah, 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 blah. And she's been back on like 4 times now because she's just so funny and like got it, you know? Rachel Zegler, we always talk about from West Side Story and the new Snow White movie and Shazam 2 and all that stuff. We had her on before West Side Story came out. We were her first released IMDb credit. She's on the soundtrack that Nick has behind him. And she's been on 7 or 8 times at this point, and like we'll stay for like 4 hours sometimes, which is crazy. Like these people who like, I've met Rachel once in person, I think, maybe twice in person, but it's someone who I've spent 15 hours with, you know?
Yeah.
Robert Wool is another one from Arliss and
Batman. He's the best. Yeah.
He's the best. Yeah. And we got our first show was watching all of the Star Wars movies back to back, and it was 33 hours or whatever. And at one point, Chris Gethard came on and said, I heard if you guys raise $20,000, you will then watch all of Arliss back to back after this. And we said, okay, pump the brakes a little bit. If we do get that, we will watch 1 season a week for 7 weeks. And Robert came on all 7 weeks to like talk about Arliss with us. And it was great. And we have spent probably 25 hours with Robert. Like if you add it all up, he's never met Griffin in person. He's met Connor and I in person. He has only met Griffin as Watto. And I think
Watto.
The funniest thing that like he knows his name, he knows who he is, but like whenever I saw him last week, and he pretty much refers to him as Watto. And that's pretty much
like, how's Watto?
Yes, and just when my favorite thing about the show, genuinely my all-time favorite thing about the show, is getting people on and hearing them say the name Watto. Just like people who should hearing Whoopi Goldberg say the word Watto. Like, I could die right now and I would be totally fine with it because that happened. It's so funny every single time to me.
It's really funny that you said that because prepping, knowing you're coming on this week, and again, I've watched a bunch of your shows, but I went back and I just pulled random stuff over the course of the last week and would put it on while I was working in the background. And that was honestly also the thing, like Seth Meyers, Watto, you know, Christina Ariel, Watto, somebody like all these different people, and throwing that name in there. You've had so many other people, but you've also had so many friends that we know from kind of our social media space. Christina, Brandon Winerdy, Jason from Blast Points, Heather Antos, like all these great, you know, folks that, again, we see what y'all are doing and we're like, holy crap, this is so fun.
Yeah. I mean, one of the nice things about doing like touring shows with a lot of those people, there's a boy kicking a ball in the courtyard of my building right now. And he absolutely just kicked it at a window and the person is staring out being like, what are you doing? Stop doing that. The nice thing about doing touring shows with a lot of those people, like we did a show in Austin and it was like, well, we know Brandon's here. Like Brandon's going to be great. We did a show in Detroit and we were like, Jason lives so close. Like, let's just have Jason do it. And that's one of the really nice things about like meeting people in this community who I know would be cool on the show and would, you know, would be like by cool, I mean like chill, like they would be good on it. They would have fun, etc. Yeah. And going to those cities is very stressful sometimes because you're like, I don't know anyone in Detroit, you know, I don't know anyone in Atlanta really. And you sort of have to get creative. Atlanta, we were lucky. There were a few people, but like Detroit, we had Jason and we had the NBC news anchor who's been there for 30 years. And like people lost their shit because they're like, it's Devin Skillian. I know Devin Skillian. I watch him every single day.
What is he doing at this weird Star Wars thing?
Yes. And we were like, yeah, I don't know. This guy seems cool. Whatever. It'll be fun.
Let's go with it.
So that's, you know, getting to have friends on is cool when it's applicable and when it makes sense. And those people were all great when they were on, you know?
That's cool. Well, and speaking of like great casts and wide variety of people, you have also expanded or in direct relationship done live reads of the scripts from a number of the movies. You did the Naboo movie, which was Phantom Menace. You did the Great Camino Caper, which was episode 2. You did Mustafar Takes Los Angeles, Kashyyyk Life Day, Carol, and you're doing Star Wars this upcoming Saturday, the original A New Hope. Tell us a little bit about those and who's going to be in the one that's coming up and where people can watch it, because it is sold out, but you can still stream it.
Yeah. So we've done 4 of them now. So we've done all the prequels, and then we did the holiday special, which is the Kashyyyk Life Day Carol. We did that one at San Francisco Sketch Fest with a lot of really cool people. But like the first 3 had so many insane people. It was Tony Hale as Qui-Gon. It was Haley Joel Osment as Anakin. Vic Michaelis.
That was brilliant casting, by the way.
Yeah, because it makes sense, and like he would have been he was in the running for that role.
Right.
Paul F. Tompkins is Palpatine. Nina West from Drag Race is Palpatine in one of them. Diana Lena Santo from Ahsoka was Palpatine in one of them. Like it's just like we've gotten so many cool, funny people, and the holiday special one was fun because we also had to work around who was in San Francisco that weekend. And luckily it was a lot of our friends. So it was like Paul Scheer, Rob Hubel, Adam Pally, Nina West did it. Mary Holland did it. A lot of like comedy people. We also had Don Bees, who worked on the Star Wars movies and played Boba Fett in the special edition. He played Boba Fett in the holiday special cartoon for us. And it was great. It was so much fun. And this weekend, this Saturday at Dynasty Typewriter in Los Angeles, we're doing McClunky Treasure Island, because we've been following the Muppet movie naming conventions for the movie titles. And this was the hardest one to figure out what it should be, because Muppet Treasure Island does not lend itself easily to a Star Wars title. So then we just said, screw it, this sounds good enough. McClunky Treasure Island, that's what it is. And this week I'm going to pull up the picture for the cast to name them all, because I don't want to miss anyone, because it's like every single time I'm like, this is insane. This is a crazy group of people to be doing this. And this one is maybe the most insane. Let's start with Richard Kind. Richard Kind is going to be in it. We've got Tatiana Maslany from She-Hulk and Orphan Black. We've got Rich Sommer from Mad Men. We've got Fred Melamed, who's an actor who every single one of you would know. He's in A Serious Man. He's in every single thing. We've got Darcy Carden. We've got Zach Oyama from Dropout. We've got Sean Diston, Paul Britton, former SNL cast member, James Urbaniak from the Venture Brothers and Review and so many things. Ray Carr is a Dropout person. Eric Edelstein from Twin Peaks. Hal Lublin, Lorraine Newman, original SNL cast member, has done 4 out of the 5 of these. And the only reason he didn't do the 5th was because it was in San Francisco. Andy Daly from Review and Mad TV, and so many things. But yeah, it's a crazy group of people, and fingers crossed that no one gets sick today or tomorrow. That's the thing I'm holding together, because if Saturday morning my Darth Vader bails, it's going to be a real scramble to figure out Darth Vader. But they're so much fun, and they're so what we always tell people in them is that we want you to have fun with this, not make fun of it. And it's a distinction, because you can do the Phantom Menace script and you can make fun of it. And that's boring as hell to me. Like, that is not fun. It's been done. We're over it. Who cares? I want you to read this, and you are an actor in this. I want you to give it your all. You can do a different take. You can do whatever you want to do with it. Like, you pick what you think is going to be funny, and go with God. You know what I mean? Like, you do that, it will probably work. It's rare that something has not worked in one of these as far as a performance choice, And we had Eric Bauza did the first 3, who has a movie coming out this week that everyone should see. It's called The Day the Earth Blew Up. It's a Looney Tunes movie. He is the voice of all of the Looney Tunes. He does every single one of them, basically. And he did Jar Jar, but he did Jar Jar as Daffy Duck.
As Daffy Duck, and it was incredible.
Voice, and it worked so well, and you were like,
worked.
Damn it, Jar Jar is a Looney Tune. Like, that is the way to crack this. If you don't like the performance in the movie or the characterization in the movie, this is a way to like get into it. And you're watching and you're like, this works. Like, it works with that slight change. And I think that alone is worth watching them for. Just seeing Daffy doing Jar Jar, it's like imagine Daffy saying "Squeeze me," like it's so funny, you know. And
I would add too, if you're a fan of Saturday Night Live when the cast breaks, if that's
Yeah.
one of your favorite things,
yeah.
this is what's great because everybody on that stage is.
They have a moment.
They have at least one moment where they're like, I can't keep. I mean, when Bobby Moynihan was Yoda, I laughed my ass off. And the cast was just, they were taken with it. So.
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna follow up on too, because you said, you know, you talk about have fun with it, don't make fun of it. And there's a moment, and I've watched all of these, where those first few minutes, like it's that nervous energy, everything just started, everybody's settling in, but you can feel that moment when it turns, and like the first thing that cracks somebody up, and everybody, you can just see them go, oh yeah, we're gonna have fun, and it turns, and the show just goes in its own, you know, special direction. And it truly is, and I'm with Pete. Like, I love nothing more than watching outtakes when people just can't keep it together, or SNL clips when people break. Like, I laugh harder at that than any of the skits that they ever do. And when somebody is having fun and doing something like this, like, that's where the magic is. And y'all have been able to put that together. Pete and Alex from Star Wars Minute, I know they work with y'all on this as a part of it. It's really something special, and I'm so thankful that y'all do it, because we get to enjoy it and enjoy those laughs.
They're very fun, and they're some of my favorite things that I've ever done. And we've got a lot more to do, you know?
That's right. There's plenty.
It's, you know, it's been good that we like space them out like 3 months out, because it is like, even this week, we've thought of like 7 things where we're like, shit, we should have thought of that 3 weeks ago. Sorry, Pete, you now have to make XYZ as a prop. Like, sorry. Or order this, you know, just because we just thought of it. And it's weirdly a lot of work, because even, you know, if you're reading the script on its own uncut, you're going to be there like 3 hours. Right. So he has to go through, Pete does almost all of the script stuff, and goes through and has to like trim out certain things that like either don't matter or are boring, or, you know, you can live without.
Gonna gum up the works.
Yeah. But we also, like, for this one specifically as well, we've been doing this in the first 3 too, but we like keeping some deleted scenes in there just to see like, you know, what could have been or whatever, and like see the pacing of how things change when this is in there. So we're doing a combo script for this one that is both the film version and a slightly earlier draft. So it's got a lot of the big stuff in there, and the, you know, the Tatooine stuff earlier on. And I think people like seeing that, especially in the prequels. There's a lot of insane deleted scenes. And there were so many moments where you could literally hear the audience being like, what? like trying to get through this insane scene with Padme's family or whatever. You know, but it's very fun, and people can watch the live stream. It'll be available for a week after the show. So even if you don't watch it live, you can still watch it for a week. And it's SSWNetwork.com.
Perfect. Yep.
SSWNetwork.com.
And Pete's going to put that in the chat real quick. So yeah, check out SSWNetwork.com. It's Saturday. What time does it start, Patrick? On the East or West Coast?
West Coast. It starts at 7:30, I think.
Okay. So yeah, so you've got time. Get you your live stream ticket.
Yeah.
And it's on the website. It'll tell you what time it is. You don't need us to tell you the time.
Yeah, I believe it's 7.
Check that out. Stream it. It's totally worth. Again, pour yourself a drink, relax, kick your feet up, have a fun Saturday night, laughing your ass off. We love everything that you do with George Lucas Talk Show, with the live reads. We are going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back. We usually do callers in our last segment of the show. Patrick, will you hang out and take some calls with us?
Of course.
Outstanding. Awesome. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more ATG Live.
And we are back with more ATG Live, your Thursday at home for all things Star Wars. We are joined by Patrick Cotnoir tonight. We have our amazing producer and lore keeper and engineer, hanging out with us. And it wouldn't be an ATG Live if we didn't take our calls. Oftentimes we have a voicemail. We have no voicemails this week, but that's okay. We do have a live caller in the chat to join us. Chris, you know who it is. You know him. You love him. He is our regular weekly caller. Here he is.
Hello, what have we here?
There he is.
Two Erics for the price of one.
What's happening over there? Okay.
I got the program on your program. I forced it on.
he put his show on our show, so we've become like this. We're being incepted on some level right now.
So it's where we can report the news. We love reporting the news. So, what's going on?
Glad to see you two. I'm glad to see Patrick. Don't worry, I have a rap name for you. You're Project Pat now.
Thank you so much.
If you don't know, it's not just Project Pat. We also have Nick Ross, and
I love
we
it.
have Pete Rock.
That's right.
I love it.
Yep. Eric gives everyone a rap name, so you're in the club now.
Great. I love it.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Any comments, questions, thoughts, anything, any Star Wars stuff on your mind at this point that you're...
Well, unfortunately, I do not have a conspiracy this time.
Okay.
I wish I did. You know, too many things on my mind. But you know, you had someone else come up here saying that we need another cool girl Jedi that's not Rey. I'm like, what about Ahsoka? Ahsoka's badass.
Sure, I have
Yep.
her lightsaber.
Ahsoka Sabers right there. Yep.
Yeah, no, like she's
but
there.
I'm like, you have the ink on your arm and you disrespected her.
I did not disrespect her. I didn't forget her. I need more women.
It was more about Nick and Pete and Patrick being grouchy old white guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you want to really get out the grouchy white guy is, bring in Mara Jade into canon, but cast a black actress to play her. That will make the blood boil.
I don't care what race it is. I just need
I
more
don't care.
women.
I don't care. But I'm just saying, if you want to piss off all these grifters, that's what you would do.
There you go.
Yeah, I know, but they already canceled my new favorite show, The ATGLive.
We'll bring me into this.
Whatever.
Well, all right.
I'm glad to see you. I'm still waiting on my C3PO sticker.
Yeah. Oh, I have not sent out the stickers yet. I have
what's the weight on that? Is it 3 milligrams?
It's not a weight issue. It's a please allow 3 to 6 weeks handling and shipping.
I saw Chris about to reach for that button. I saw that. You ain't flick.
I'm looking at
Pete lives in a very rural area of New Jersey. He has to wait for the wagon to come through on its way.
That's
to the
right. I live out in rural New Jersey. We have true.
They don't travel at Millennium Falcon speed. Sorry.
That's
right.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I do have them ready to go, and they will be going. I have you did what you were supposed to do. You DM'd me through Twitter, so I have the information I need. It's just a matter of getting them out the door. So
yeah,
appreciate it. But
and anyone watching, they can click on go to this video, and you actually have the audio of what we're talking about.
Was it this? So we can report the news. We love reporting the news. Was that it? No, was it?
No, that wasn't it.
That was not it.
But check out
later.
Honest to Claude. Eric, always good to see you, my friend.
Talk to you later. So that's Eric, Patrick. He's
You never know what you're going to get when Eric calls.
Yeah,
I got my rap nickname, and that's all I've ever wanted.
I know that's the reason you joined us this week.
That's why he came tonight.
Real quick, he didn't give me a rap name, and I have way more street cred than all of you.
Next week.
Next week's your week. If you hang out, if you don't quit on us, I'm sure he'll give you a rap name next week.
Right. If we haven't run you off week one, then
haven't pissed you off.
No,
well,
fine. You guys are all right.
We are coming to the end of another exciting episode. Patrick, once again, tell people where they can follow you and the George Lucas Talk Show, and the best way to keep up with all that stuff.
Yeah, totally. So you can follow me on Instagram at Cotnoir, Cotnoir. It's my last name. On Blue Sky at Patrick Cotnoir, and on Twitter still for some reason at Patrick Cotnoir. This Saturday, live read of New Hope, SSWLiveread.com. You can get your live stream tickets there. All the other ones, the links are in SSWLiveread.com, so you can watch all the other ones there too. George Lucas Talk Show, it's on the YouTube. Just search George Lucas Talk Show. It's going to come up. Find an episode next Friday, I think at 5 p.m. Pacific time. The John Hamm, Seth Rogen episode goes live. You can also listen. A podcast I just started with my friend Brian Lynch, who wrote Minions and Secret Life of Pets and a whole bunch of other movies. We do commentaries on movies and TV shows with people who never got to do commentaries for them. And the episode that went up today was Dave Barclay, who was a puppeteer for Yoda and Jabba the Hutt and Dark Crystal Labyrinth. So many things. Like every cool movie that you love from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, this man has worked on. And we did a commentary on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and he was the chief puppeteer for that. So anytime you saw a weasel carrying a gun or a penguin carrying a tray or whatever, he was the guy in charge of how to make that gun float or that tray float or whatever. It really rules, and people should check it out. HeyThat'sMePod.com or Hey That's Me, a commentary podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts. I think that's it. Oh, we also had the Vivian Lyra Blair, who played Leia in Kenobi. We did the first episode and the third episode. We did commentaries on those with her, so you can check those out too. Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for that, Patrick. Chris, what's new at Broaxium Outpost this week? What are we going to pre-order?
Well, same pre-orders as last week. It's the season 2 Cassian Andor Sanar test pilot uniform that he's got. Then there's the new what's his name again? Director Krennic, that one, and then Moff Gideon in his Dark Trooper armor, and the Imperial Praetorian Guard from Mandalorian. So those 4 are the new pre-orders out that I've got. And they come out in July, but knowing Hasbro, that'll be like May or yesterday. One of the two.
2020.
They don't care when they drop anything. But yeah.
So head over there. You don't have to do just pre-orders. You can order anything on the site and use code ATG10 to get 10% off. Next week.
I'll be using that code to order my Dr. Afra.
Is it going in a drink? Because I will refund. If it's
100% going in a drink.
Oh, damn it, Nick.
I already ordered mine. Don't worry.
Yes, she's ahead of the game.
Well, and if you're still with us at this point, we have an announcement for next week's guest. We have a phenomenal live guest joining us. Not that Patrick wasn't phenomenal; he's always phenomenal, but a different sort of phenomenal. We have Space Mom herself, Vanessa Marshall, aka Harrison Dula from Rebels, joining us live. Make sure you're here to join us. Leave your questions and comments in the chat for her. She is coming in to talk about their new podcast called what is it? Pod of Rebellion. Yep. And it is her and Tia
Taylor Gray and Tia Carr.
Yep, doing recaps of every single episode of Star Wars Rebels, which if you follow this show, you know that's our collective. I think it's our favorite animated series of all of them, and we could not be more excited to have her next week. So that's what's happening. We also will be dropping our Ryan McGee podcast in the podcast feed, as well as we are going to start cutting audio from this and putting it in the podcast feed. So you'll be able to find Patrick Cotnoir in there pretty soon if you missed the video. And if you did, you're not watching now. I'm if you're sort of
even if you didn't
gesticulating wildly,
listen to it again, download it again.
Right. Play it for friends. Yeah, you know what? We keep it. You can listen to it with your kids. Send it to your mom. I'm sure your mom would love to listen to Patrick Cotnoir talking. But
it's a proven fact. Moms love Patrick Cotnoir.
It's true. It's true. I mean, look at him. Look at that face. Oh man.
Granny Magnet.
Well, that's going to do it for ATG Live this week. Nick, may the force be with you.
Always.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.